568 days. That is how long I have been able to stay off of social media, which is a huge achievement for me. And that whole time I have been on a pretty strict dopamine detox. And here's the problem that you're currently suffering from, right? And it's the same exact problem that I had. You're an ambitious guy. You've got big plans. You know that there's more to life than what you're currently doing. You're probably finding life right now pretty boring. And this is the problem. You are a dopamine addict. And this is like being an alcoholic. It's the same as being addicted to cocaine. It's the same as being addicted to heroin. Yeah, maybe obviously they're not as bad as cocaine. It's not as addictive as cocaine or heroin. But I would argue that being addicted to dopamine is a pretty negative thing. And in this video, I want to just share my experience of being on a dopamine detox, how it's massively changed my life, how it's really improved my outlook on things. And hopefully I can get you to a similar point as well. Apologies if I have kind of lower energy in this video. I've just finished work and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty fucking tired, but I'm gonna record a video anyway because every 2 days I'm gonna record a video, trying to be consistent, trying to make the videos better. So just bear with me for this one. So the first thing I really want you to understand is how dopamine works. And as soon as I understood how dopamine works, it made it way easier to quit dopamine because I could really identify when I was going to have a dopamine spike because I understood like the mechanism, so I could easily stay away from doing something which I knew was going to massively spike my dopamine. So the way dopamine works is when you are about to do something that you really want to do and you're really excited to do it, you'll have a big spike in dopamine. It's basically the hormone of motivation. A lot of people think that dopamine is this hormone of like happiness and it's fun and whatever, which is kind of true. But really what it is it's the hormone that gets you up and going and ready and excited and want to move towards that thing that you're thinking about. So when you're thinking of a tasty donut or some sweet treats like Krispy Kremes, if you're thinking of something like that and you go, oh yeah, I could really do one of them right now. You know, you've been really good in your diet and stuff, but you kind of have low willpower one day and you're just thinking, fuck, you know, I could just eat, you know, a cinnamon swirl or some shit, you know, when you're at the shops and you have that thought in your head. You're not necessarily eating it, you just have the thought. That is when you'll get the spike in dopamine. It's before you actually do the thing that gives you the spike in dopamine, because then that makes you want to go, oh, you're like, okay, yeah, let's go do it. And when you actually go and do that thing, that's when the spike sort of peaks, when you actually eat, when you're eating the Krispy Kreme donut. And then as soon as you finish eating it, you'll have a huge dip in dopamine. And it's like a big splash, it's like a wave. And your sort of baseline level of dopamine, which you can think of as your normal amount of motivation that you have in the day, that's kind of your regular, just, you know, nothing's really changing in the day, this is just how motivated you are. Overall, it drops down. So when you have a big spike in dopamine and then the big dip in dopamine, the dip in dopamine that you get goes under what you would usually produce. It goes below baseline, it's called. And what that means is now you are gonna feel slightly less motivated for that day after eating the Krispy Kreme donut. And that's not like even thinking about the huge insulin spike that you have and the carbs and stuff and the brain fog that's gonna come after that. But this is just an example for dopamine. So when you understand that when you have a big spike in dopamine, you have a big crash afterwards, almost like a hangover after you drink, then you can start to identify things in your life that are going to cause those big spikes and are then going to cause those big crashes. Now, what happens when your dopamine lowers below baseline because you've just eaten a Krispy Kreme donut or you've just watched some porn and you fapped and you busted your nut and now you're kind of having that post-nut clarity, which is actually where your dopamine's gone down, right? What do you do after that? Well, you feel kind of shit, don't you? You feel like, fuck me, I'm just kind of tired, I don't really feel motivated, I don't really feel up for doing any work. And then what do? You want to feel good again. You want to feel joy. You want to be happy. You know, you go and your brain starts to think of things it can do that's fun. Oh, we could just watch some YouTube videos. You know, we can chill and watch some fun Mr. Beast content or something like that, right? Some high dopamine, high octane action content. We could go watch the latest Netflix series and go see what, you know, the latest episode or whatever, right? Of the show that you're really into. You watch that and that gives you an even bigger spike in dopamine, but from, you know, you're below baseline. So you started the day off up here and now you're sort of here because you've just busted a nut, you've just eaten Krispy Kreme, and then you watch a show which takes it up a bit and then it goes even further down below baseline. So what is happening here? Basically, as soon as you keep piling on top in the day, lots of different dopamine related activities like watching porn or eating junk food or vaping or drinking or taking drugs or watching Netflix or, all these kind of very pleasurable things. Playing video games is another big one, okay? These things that you really want to do, as you pile them on throughout the day and you kind of just go into like pure, gluttony and degeneracy, your overall dopamine for the day tends downwards. Even though you've got little spikes where it does go up, it just tends downwards. And what this means is overall, for the end of that day, you're going to feel like shit. And this can pile up. This isn't just a daily thing. This can last weeks. It can last months. This is how people become depressed. And one of the biggest sources of this dopamine for people in my generation is social media. It's Instagram, it's TikTok. And the reason why they're so addictive is because those apps have been engineered by those app companies to keep you on the app as long as possible. So I work in digital marketing. I work in something called PPC. And I can tell you from personal experience that these apps are designed to keep you on the app as long as possible so that they can show you as many ads as they possibly can. So they've got the world leading experts. Their sole job is just to keep you on the app as long as they possibly can. So that is why social media is such a big problem, because they're designed to keep you on as long as possible. They're designed to keep spiking your dopamine a little bit, keep you hooked on that app so that you just can't get off. So what did I do when I sort of understood this concept, when I understood how dopamine works? I went on a dopamine detox. I decided, do you know what? I can't be doing this anymore. I feel like shit. I was at a point in my life where, I was running this YouTube channel, but I wasn't consistent with it. I'd post maybe, one video a week or something like that, maybe one video every 2 weeks. And then I'd kind of get a motivation boost and I'd kind of post 3 videos all in one, 3 days, all in a row. And then I'd kind of go back to not posting for a week. And I was just I was desperately looking for something in my life that I could do that was going to make me more productive, that was going to make me have a higher chance of being successful. And one of the key things that I actually learned from just genuinely upskilling myself and just learning from self-improvement and other self-improvement creators was that a lot of the successful people who do really well, they actually don't have very complex, busy lives. So you might have this vision in your head or this idea of like a very successful, like multi-millionaire or something who is like flying to this location in the morning and then he's working whilst he's on his laptop and then he has to go do this meeting and then this meeting. And then you kind of have this idea that like have this very busy schedule. It's actually kind of the opposite. A lot of people who have really successful businesses or do really well on YouTube, for example, like what I'm trying to do, have really simple lives. The more simple your life can be, the better. Because like you and me working these 9-to-5 jobs, or you might be going to university, we have these really busy lives. Like even when you're going for a shit and you're just sat on the toilet, you're on your phone scrolling, like taking in content, your brain is working. Your brain is literally working and focusing whilst you're on the toilet having a shit, because it's on social media. It's having to absorb that content and understand the context. And every little minute of the day is pretty much taken up by some kind of consumption, right? It could be watching YouTube, it could be, you're working, or you could be listening to music whilst you're in the car, whilst you go for a walk, you have your headphones on, you're listening to music. Your brain is constantly working because we have these really busy lives. And when I sort of understood that concept, that is when I was like, oh shit, yeah, my life actually is really busy. Like, no wonder I can't get any work done on YouTube, because you might think of busy as like, oh, I've got this meeting or I've got to go do this work. And when you're not busy, that's when you're on social media or you're playing video games or you're watching a film or something, right? That is actually busy. Like your brain, there's no difference, right? In terms of how hard your brain has to work to scroll through social media versus, being on a client meeting or something like that, or writing for your blog or whatever. Like it's all the same to your brain. It's just operations that have to happen in your brain. So when I understood this, I was like, oh shit, I'm super busy. Like I spend 4 hours a day scrolling Instagram reels. That's like, I'm insanely busy. Like, why don't I just try cut out social media? So that was one of the main driving factors. And I just made that decision on a whim. So I went on, deleted all of my social media apps, and literally 568 days later, I've never installed those apps again. And that has been the best decision that I've ever made in my life. And what other stuff have I done to have more of a dopamine detox? I mean, and this term detox, by the way, for dopamine, is because, like I mentioned at the beginning, I explained how dopamine addiction works, where you have like a spike and then it goes below baseline, then a spike and then it goes even further below baseline, and you kind of just go downwards like this. When I explained how that works, that's dopamine addiction. And the reason that we're doing this dopamine detox is because we're trying to restore our dopamine back to baseline, okay? So we don't want our new baseline to be down here, like at the bottom, because we're going to feel shit. This is how people get depressed. So we need to raise that dopamine baseline up slightly. And the only way you can do that is by lowering the amount of times that you spike your dopamine. And the best way to do this is to be bored and to replace the dopamine task that you were doing with work. How did I do this? Well, I just quit social media, deleted it. I got my PS4, which I used to play fucking GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. I used to be so addicted to basically just Rockstar games. And I got my PS4, I took it and I put it downstairs and I said, Dad, I said, how do you fancy having a new PS4? And he was like, oh yeah, go on then, yeah, I'll take it. And he just plays like car games and truck driving simulators on it now. And he's got it downstairs in his room. So yeah, I don't have my PS4, like I don't have like easy access to it, right? I'd have to go into my parents' room to play it. So I got rid of that. I got rid of the social media. And that's pretty much like probably the main big things for you that you're struggling with. Obviously there's like porn, you need to stop doing that. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. Like I'm not gonna give you some bullshit YouTube video like don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Like you know what is bad. You know the bad habits that you're doing. Like don't eat junk food, don't take drugs, don't fucking drink loads of alcohol every day. Like I'm not going to tell you this kind of stuff because you know what you really want to do in terms of like, oh, I really could do with a cigarette right now. I really want to vape. I really want to do this. That's dopamine. You know what dopamine is. And I have to explain that in the beginning of the video. The only way you're going to recover from being a dopamine addict and having your dopamine baseline be down here, that's why you feel shit, honestly. That's why you have such a busy life. That's why you can't be productive. That's why you're not going anywhere in life. Or that's why you at least feel like you're not making any progress. You're not moving the needle. You're not going to, work on that project that you want to work on. The reason you feel like that is because your life is so busy. And what I'm saying is, in order to get out of this situation, you need to recover your dopamine levels back to their natural place where you're going to feel good again. And that is the place I've got to. And the way I did that was I got rid of social media, I got rid of my PS4. Those were the two biggest things for me. And obviously I stopped watching porn, stop doing all that degenerate shit. Sometimes I'll have a few drinks here and there, This isn't going to be a dopamine detox video where I'm telling you you can't do anything because I really don't think that's healthy. I honestly think going to the pub occasionally and meeting your friends for a drink is actually a way healthier thing to do to like maintain those relationships and have that brotherhood and stuff. That's like way more important than just like necessarily sat in your room just dopamine detoxing, like fucking hell, you can go for a drink with your mates, just don't go every day or don't go out and get smashed every weekend, okay? Basic stuff, like you're not an idiot, okay? You know this kind of stuff. So that is what I did to dopamine detox and the way this has helped me. How has this changed my life? How has this been such a big deal for me? Well, I've been able to quit my job that I've been in for 4 years that I hated, and I've been able to quit that job. I'm moving to Thailand in 3 weeks. And I am focusing solely on content. Now, you probably heard me say that and gone, oh, that's really cool. And then look down at your screen and you've got 1,300 subscribers, bro. Yeah, and that's fine because I'm so confident and so motivated and feel so inspired and so good about this YouTube channel. And so I'm looking forward to the future so much. Why is that? It's because my dopamine is way higher than yours. Like my normal dopamine that I release is so much higher than yours because like what have I done today? All I've done is work from home at the company that I work at, and then now I'm recording a video. I haven't actually done anything else. Like I haven't scrolled through my phone. My phone's on the tripod. I haven't scrolled through it. I haven't watched any porn today. I haven't taken any drugs. I haven't eaten junk food. I've had one meal today and it was beef and eggs. Like what I'm saying is this dopamine detox stuff works because now my natural dopamine is high enough to where I can even be asked to make this video. It's like 5:30 now in the afternoon. Most people at 5:30 are just about to like leave work and drive home. I'm here recording a video. I don't need to record this video. It's not going to make me any money, but I'm still recording it anyway because I have that motivation and that desire to do that. But I would not be in this position now or have this confidence or have this deep drive to do this kind of stuff that I'm doing now and to even like risk it all and leave my job. I wouldn't have any of this if I didn't make that decision, that active choice to go on a dopamine detox. I wouldn't even necessarily consider myself to be on a dopamine detox right now, to be honest, because now this is just like normal life for me. I just don't have social media. I just don't play video games. And that's not me like, oh, I'm on a dopamine detox, but I'll go back onto those things afterwards. I was just like, no, my dopamine's fucked. All I do is consume content. All I do is play video games and basically just do fuck all. and my dopamine's been spiked all the time. And it took me having to learn how dopamine works, and then this new mindset shift of needing to make my life less busy and make my life more simple, because that's what the successful people do. And that's literally the only reason that I did it, right? And when I got those two kind of mindsets in place, those two bits of knowledge in place, that's the thing that drove me over the edge to delete social media, to get rid of my PS4, to stop watching porn. And yeah, I was on a dopamine detox, but that dopamine detox has been going on for so long now, for 568 days, that it's really just life. Like, this is just what I do. I just work, I be productive, I go to the gym, I make some food, sometimes I'll meet my friends and I'll record videos and put them on YouTube. That's it. I don't ever scroll through my phone. I don't ever play video games, very rarely. The last time I played on my PS4 was I don't know, maybe last summer? Something like that. Last summer sounds about right. I think was the last time I was on my PS4, but not been on it since. And yeah, that's fine. I mean, if you really enjoy being on your PS4, then fine. The dopamine detox doesn't have to completely get rid of it. It's just don't play it every night for 5 hours. Why don't you just play it, I don't know, once a week on a Saturday or something? That's a start, isn't it? It's better than being on it every night. So that's pretty much what I did for the dopamine detox, and that is how it changed my life. And it really truly has changed my life. I'm never gonna ever go back onto social media. I'm probably never gonna play video games again. I might play GTA 6, I don't know, that's about it, because that's one thing I've been waiting for that feels like my whole life, to be honest. But apart from that, that's pretty much it. People overcomplicate the fuck out of dopamine detox. They say that if you fucking have one drink, you've lost the streak, and they treat it like nofap, right? If you do one bad habit, then you're fucked. But just change your life around. If you want it bad enough, you'll do it. And you know the things that are causing you to spike your dopamine. So hopefully this video has helped you to get those new mindsets installed, right? The idea that your life is too busy right now. The idea that you need to simplify your life down and to cut out the things that are spiking your dopamine. And then hopefully you've understood my way of explaining how dopamine addiction comes into play, and that's how people end up becoming sad and depressed. And then hopefully, after you've learned those two pieces of advice from me, you can take my story, you can take my dopamine detox that has changed my life, and you can just copy it, you can just do the same thing. Okay, bro, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.